Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today I need your attention. The Biden administration made an announcement, at least publicly said something. I don't know that it was intended to be an announcement, but we need to talk about it because you need to be ready to be in favor of it, basically, even if you really don't like Biden. Okay, I'm going to reference two videos during the course of this. They'll both be down below. The first is one from a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about Biden's first real foreign policy test, and it was Iran. In that video, I laid out a whole bunch of things that the Biden administration could do to help bring Iran out of isolation. One thing I mentioned, and I referred to it as pie in the sky. I said that I didn't think it was likely because, quite frankly, I didn't think the Biden administration had the courage to attempt it. Because while it is an incredibly good move politically here at home, it may have costs. They announced, or at least said, that they want to do that. They want to have Iran help us in Afghanistan. And by help us, I mean relieve us. In another video, we talk about foreign policy in depth. And we talk about slogans and how people will say stuff like, we need to bring our troops home from the Middle East. And how it's not really that simple, especially in the case of Afghanistan. We went in to destabilize a couple of groups. That's why we went in. Mission creep, goals changed. Next thing you know, we are propping up the host government in Kabul. Once we started doing that, we really couldn't leave. Not realistically. Because if we left, we create a power vacuum. We're a piece of metal. With that piece of metal, we got to get to the hospital before we take it out. The problem is, there hasn't been a hospital around. It's not like a Western power would want to step in and take our place. Iran can. They have the force multipliers, they have the fire support, they have all the assets that they would need to take over for us. Aside from that, while we were there helping, we were also the opposition's best recruitment tool. Aside from the obvious reasons, they were also able to cast the government in Kabul as a Western puppet. Nobody is going to be able to accuse Iran of being a Western puppet. That's not a thing. That's not going to happen. So it provides the ability to fill that power vacuum and save a whole bunch of innocents, and for us to leave and not encourage more Western powers to get involved all at once. It's a winning move for everybody. The national government there gets the assistance they need. We get to leave. Iran gets a seat at the big table. They get to do something that is unanimously seen as a good thing for the international community. Aside from that, they get to strengthen their ties with Kabul. It helps them project and gives them political influence, so they don't have to rely on their non-state actors. It helps shift the entire balance of power in the Middle East. This one little move would have far-reaching impacts. With all of that said, why didn't I think the Biden administration would do it? Well, I mean, realistically, because of the impacts here at home politically. The Republican Party has taken a very obstructionist view towards everything that the Biden administration is attempting. I would imagine that they will come out and say something to the effect of, we fought there for 20 years and Biden is handing Afghanistan to Iran. We do not conquer countries territorially anymore. That is not something we do anymore. Afghanistan isn't ours to give. This is a neighboring country stepping in to help and fill a role so we can leave. And a whole bunch of innocents are going to be really happy with that. Because while the U.S. was not always careful with its fire, and Iran will not always be careful with its fire, the opposition will directly target them. So it's a net win for them. It gets the U.S. out. It helps stabilize the entire region. It's a win for everybody. But politically, it's a move that looks like, or could be painted as, selling out the troops to benefit Iran. That's not what it is. If that becomes a talking point, it needs to be very clearly understood that the Republican Party is putting their political ambitions over the lives of American troops, the lives of innocents, over us getting out, over the stability of the Middle East, over everything. In 20 years, there have been 2 plans that had even a remote chance of success of getting us out once we got in. The other one, we'd still be there for another 10 years if we did it. This is the door. This is how we get out. This is how we bring our troops home. We have to fill that power vacuum. We talked about it in the video. Foreign policy is never about right and wrong. And it's not really that American foreign policy cares about the innocents. Let's be real clear on that. It's that we can't be in a position where we leave yet another country and it descends into utter chaos. That's the reason it's important to us. That's the reason it's important for us to have an orderly withdrawal. Because if it does descend into chaos, there are going to be those people who want to go back in. Once we go back in, the exact same thing will happen. Mission creep will occur, we will end up propping up the national government, and we will be stuck there yet again. The only possible downside to this is that if Iran takes over and can't hold their own, can't stabilize it, then it may descend into chaos anyway. But realistically, if Iran can't do it, neither can we. And we're just wasting years staying there. So it doesn't matter if you are so far to the left you don't like Biden. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't matter. This is the right move for the people that everybody likes to pretend they care about. The innocents on the ground and the troops. It benefits them both. The only reason to oppose this is if you care more about giving Biden a black eye than you do a whole bunch of innocent lives. I don't know that the Biden administration could pull this off. Even though they have apparently do have the courage to attempt it, it's going to be difficult. But if they try, we, as the American people, need to give them every bit of support we can. Because the defense contractors and everybody who's making money right now, they're going to be against it. And they own a lot more senators than we do. So, anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.